Alright, so I'm going to teach you guys how to make these hemp bracelets that I make. First, you start with like these 3 strings right here. Then you get them, make like a loop like this. Put one like that. Do the next one like this. Same thing. And then the last one. Okay. You have 3 like this. Right? Now, you grab one, separate it, and you grab the other one, separate it. Keep this one straight. And then cross them over. Like this, you go over. Grab this string. You go over this one. And then under the main string. And then back through. And then you make a knot like this. Right? And if you want a spiral knot, you keep coming, you keep going the same way. Do the same thing over and over again. But if you want a box knot, then you do it the opposite way. You bring this string over, right? Then you bring this string under both strings, you know, and then you do it the opposite way. So that's how you do the box knot. And then you go, next time, you do it the opposite way. Wait, the way you first did it. Now you just keep going. So the box knot just alternates. Now you want to use a stick like this. You want to use something really skinny. Because these knots right here get twice as big whenever you use this knot at the end to tie it all together. You can kind of tell if you forget where you're going, because this one right here will be the one that just went that way. So then you'll want to use the other string. Right, because see, you start to get this like little box knot right here going. Whichever string you see, like if you see the blue string, it's actually time to use the blue string, which makes no sense. But you use the, it's like you use the same one that you think you don't need to use, so you know where you're at. But if you pay attention, you just can remember. If you mess up, it doesn't really matter too much. You know, it's your hemp bracelet. You can do whatever you want. Wherever you see the knot that's kind of poking out, kind of more, that's the side you actually you go you start with that side. Counterintuitive. You start on the side that looks like it's poking out more, because the knot you ends up being on the other side at the end of it. See what I mean? That's like more on the other side. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how to capture this moonstone, whatever stone you want to use, um, in the in the string itself. Eventually, when we get there. You can tell the distance that you want to go. If you already have another one, you can kind of tell like okay, I've gone this far. I can go like a little bit more. In a second, I'll show you how to do it in a spiral. You just keep going. Basically, going to show you how to make these eventually. You just keep going. You check it. It's almost there. You actually start on the side that you see the biggest bulge on in the string. because it goes on the other side. You just keep checking it. So you feel like it's about the right length. Maybe like one more. Right, until you feel like, okay, well, maybe this is enough. You go, okay, fine, that's enough, right? Then put some beads on it. The beads you want to use. Like these, I'm using these little glow in the dark beads right now. Just get one of these strings. Put a bead on it. Now you can tie it a different way and have different colors coming. So like, I want my green to be in the middle now. Just tighten it. And then now, to make a spiral, you just keep going the same way over and over. You don't want to tighten it too much, because it'll just be, it won't be like a spiral. It'll be more like a bunch of little tiny knots. You want to tighten it, but not too tight. So it's these two colors instead. Starts to make a spiral. If you don't already have a bracelet to start off with, you can just kind of like judge it by distance of mine. Like so big. You like that long. Depending on your wrist too, depending on what you think. But you can make it a little longer and a little. You can figure that out as you go. You can make it a little bit bigger and a little bit smaller, depending on what you need. If you're running out of one string or the other, you can decide to do more of the other two strings and put the other string in the middle, depending on whatever string you're losing too much of. And so you keep testing it, see how long it is in comparison. It's almost there. Check the length. Let's say it's there. Okay. So then when you get to this part, you want to encapsulate this. When you get to this part, you grab the whole thing all together, make a knot. And this is so the when you're capturing this, when you're capturing one of these in here, you want it to be tight right here before, so that all of this is tight. From one, this is tight on this side and this is tight. So you can do one on this side and then one on the other side. Tighten it. Be careful because you're using hemp, so it could break. Tighten each string individually. Be careful, don't pull too hard, because you can break it. And if you break it, you can start over, but you'd rather not. So, it's pretty tight. Then you grab the strings in threes, and then you make a knot right here. Make 3 knots. They're just circle knots. They're just it's like that. Now you might not get it the first time. Something might go wrong. You just gotta keep trying. You see, you make a knot, and you make the first tree pretty small. Depending on your stone, but you kind of want to make them kind of small because between these and the next knots, there's like a diamond shape that forms, and it's like twice as big as the first. Like it becomes twice as big. And as you stretch these out, they'll stretch out even more. So there's gonna be as you tighten them, they're gonna stretch out more. They're gonna stretch out a little bit. And you tighten them about that tight, and then you pull them. But not too hard because you can break these. So pull them, and even if you want to, pull these. Not too hard. Then you put these two together. And you make knots. You want them a little tighter than you think, because as you pull, they're gonna stretch out a little bit. You gotta kind of like you gotta kind of figure out what the best way to get this stone in here is. So be careful not to pull too hard because these will break. And you're basically using the stone to kind of stretch it out to where the next knots will hold. It's better that it's a little small than a little big, because the next knots can kind of like help you. And so to the next knots. Now, this is not an exact science. You will fail from time to time. Those first knots do not have to be, they do not have to like let the, they don't have to be like, they don't have to perfectly let the stone in there, but they're better small than they are larger, because the stone can slip out. But if they're smaller, there'll be space there, um, but the stone still won't slip out. I'll make these just about as big as the last ones, because they're going to stretch out a little bit. Have to be very careful, because these two want to break. I don't know, as you can tell, it's starting to wrap around it in one way or the other. Right? And we keep going. I just want to kind of make them a little smaller than you think, because they will stretch out, and then when they stretch out and get tight, then they'll be set. But that's depending on the stone, how big the stone is. So like about that distance apart again. You be careful pulling on these. They don't break. Equal distance is good too. You don't want to have it one side bigger because the stone will slip out. You got to kind of decide like when these three together are small enough to where it's still not going to slip out. So really you try to stretch as much as possible without breaking the strings, because you want it in there snug as it can be. And the smaller you can get this last part right here, the better you are off, because this last knot you do is gonna wanna, it's not gonna want to be that tight because it's a bigger knot. It's not gonna want to be that tight. So the smaller you can get, the tighter you can get this right here, the better off you really are. So like as these have got bigger room, if you can get this a little bit smaller, these last three strings that come off of this to be a little bit smaller, it's usually good. And then you tie off one more knot. This knot's a tricky knot because it's not gonna wanna, it's hard to get tight, this knot tight. So if you've made the spaces right here bigger, it can slip out here. When you tighten it, don't break it. Be careful not to break it. Tighten each one individually. And you kind of want to not tighten them too tight, but like pull on each one of them before you make them really tight, because sometimes the knot just wants to get stuck and it doesn't want to be as tight as it could be. And so now you've captured your stone. And so now you can go back to doing your knots. Like let's say you set like a spiral, but this time, like let's say this string is kind of small. You want to put this string, this small one in the middle, and then let's say this is the other small one, but you want it to look kind of crazy looking, so you just like let's say you want to use one of these. This is the middle one. You want these two on one side and these two on the other side. So you can pick whichever one. Like you want these in the middle this time because you want it to look just a lot of different colors. You can do 2 different colors on each side. Let me see. Hold on. So this is the short blue one. So these two be straight, and then all these. Okay. And then you go back to the process of doing the spiral. The spiral's easier. If you want to just start with the spiral, you just do the same knot over and over again. And it looks kind of cooler anyway. So you start the knot going. So now as it's going, the spiral kind of looks like a bunch of colors. Whichever way you want it, you can make it. I pull on the spiral a little bit to make it a little more spirally sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't want to. I like to get more complicated as it goes on, a little more crazy looking. But you can start it off crazy looking. You can make it crazy right here, like different colors, or you can just make it all just either this, and then one more of this cut kind of pattern. You do whatever you want, feel like, or you can make it all, or you can make it all look like this, which that would be pretty nice. And just check to see how far of a distance you've come. And just like a little bit longer. You can also, once you get to this stage, you want to take this off kind of, and you can like wrap it around your wrist because the rock's usually different sizes. So then you can kind of like, and where these knots kind of like meet, at the end of the knots is kind of where it's going to be at. So like where these two things meet is kind of how big it's going to be, roughly. So just make it like a little bit longer. It stretches out a little bit. Um, as you wear it. Just in case, make it a little bit. That should be the size of my wrist. That should be just about right. That should be just about right. And so at the end, you just get 3 more beads. Whatever color you feel like. And then you get all the strings, right? You just make one big knot. Tie as tight as you want. Well, here at the end, so you can really pull it as hard as you really want. Because if they break, it's already done. But really, it's better if they don't break. You can even do one more. Which usually looks a little better with two. A little safer. It won't fall apart on you. You get it and you get it and you cut it whichever way you want. Whether you want to cut it with scissors or whatever. Throw away those strings and now here you go. Here's your bracelet. Put it on like this. Get like one of these strings and put it over like one of these. You can do two, you can do the last one. There you go. There you go. That's how you make a bracelet. Put your little moonstone in there, whatever you want to put. That's it. That's how you do it. That's how you make a hemp bracelet. Not a lot of money required.